Welcome back. Moving on to our second segment for today. Well, Minister of Planning and Economic Development, Dr. Hala Said, said that the second phase of the Egyptian Rural Development Initiative, A Decent Life, targets 52 centers, 1,600 villages, benefiting 21 million people. And this came after the meeting of the weekly cabinet meeting. Well, over the phone we have Dr. Mostafa Tamam, Professor of Economics and Political Science. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Doctor. So first of all, I'd like to talk more about the role of the public investment in implementing such structural forms.
Certainly, this is a very important role, you see, because the public investment is considered a major factor in this process, in this project also. And certainly, the finance comes from various sources, and certainly, again, it is directed to various also sectors, for the health sector, for the education sector, because unfortunately, the villages has been they've been neglected since a long time ago, and now it's time that we can use this resource because it could be an upload to the economy. You see, if we have provide a decent life for the people living in the villages, certainly this will elevate the economy.
Right. Talking about the plan, if we're talking about Egypt's ranking in the Food Security Index, and we know that we have many initiatives in this respect, targeting Egyptians, targeting rural areas, especially that, of course, we have this initiative taking place more and more, especially during the holy month of Ramadan.
You're talking about security, right?
Right.
Yeah, certainly this is very, very important because certainly the stability and political and economic stability depends on security. And certainly we have seen a lot of efforts which have been taken by the government, and we have now results that you see the terrorist attacks have been limited to a minimum now. Certainly this is due to the efforts and of the government, and certainly we need something very important. It's the cooperation between the people and the government. If someone sees something which is unusual, certainly he has to report this, because this will affect him on the long run indirectly. If these acts will increase, certainly it will affect them. So certainly it's very important to have a cooperation between the citizens and the government in order to combat it again. But certainly we see the results now that are very satisfactory.
Well, Egypt now ranked fourth in the world in the 2022 in the Infrastructure Index. So to what extent can the strong growth of farms, let's say as a result of these investments, made the state expected to increase the storage capacity of grain silos and develop the irrigation network?
Certainly, the development and the upgrading of the infrastructure is very, very important. It's not only for this factor that you just mentioned, but it is for attracting investors which will be coming to invest in Egypt. If you don't have a proper infrastructure, certainly no one will be coming here. Certainly we had a lot of, I'll give some examples. You see, in the area of electricity, you remember since a long time ago, we used to have power cuts for 7 and 8 hours at night. Now this has been eliminated. The roads are very important because this is a very important method of communication for the investments also. On the other side also, we have the ports, you see, that have been certainly upgraded on the Mediterranean and the Red Sea. So these are very, very important projects and will certainly give a positive impact to the economy.
Right. The Economic and Social Development Plan for the fiscal year 2023-2024 actually mainly aims to invest in human capital. And this is something really of great importance because production mainly is based on the human capital.
Certainly, this is very, very important. And certainly, I would like to emphasize that that now there is a cooperation between the private sector and the public sector in order to upgrade the human resources in the areas of training and development and providing technology. You see, and certainly this is very, very important because the human factor is one of the factors that will, if we have a professional human factor here, certainly this will be one of the factors that investors will come and put their money and invest in Egypt here.
So how do you see the steps adopted to attract more foreign investments to support in this respect?
Certainly there are a lot of efforts have been made, you see, and recently I've been talking about a very important factor, which is the process of legislation, which takes a long time, and the president took a step now, gave instructions that the legal cases have to be finalized in a certain deadline, you see, because this is very, very important, you see. In order to attract investors, you have to have a legal system, professional legal system. You have to have an infrastructure which is already there, and you should have human resources, which we are upgrading. The government is doing a lot of efforts, and finally, we have to fight bureaucracy. And certainly, give you an example how we fought bureaucracy is the Suez Canal area zone, which was erected now, and a lot of projects have been there. And certainly it is not governed by bureaucracy, so certainly decisions are taken very quickly. And we saw a lot of projects that have been taken place in this area.
Right. Definitely, whenever we talk about investments in human capital, well, we have seen all initiatives targeting Egyptian citizens, starting with the most important initiative, Decent Life, providing all means of decent life to Egyptian citizens. We are building in human capital, and this is one of the most important parts if we want to move forward or to achieve sustainable development. So tell us more about it and more about providing better environment for citizens so that they can work, they can achieve more when it comes to productivity.
Certainly this is a very important point that you have just mentioned now. If we don't provide factors that will give the citizens a decent life, certainly they will not be able to produce or even to learn or to do anything because they'll be demotivated. Certainly, and be thinking about meeting their basic needs. But now, if you provide all this, you see, to them, and you provide a decent life, certainly this will be a step ahead in order to certainly encourage these people to go into the education and so on. Also, a very important point is that we have to encourage citizens to go to technical training. You see, we have a shortage of technicians, you see, in all aspects. So certainly by having, you see, giving chances and giving good conditions and good salaries and good working conditions to these technicians certainly will upgrade the economy. This is very important.
Right. Dr. Mostafa Tamam, Professor of Economics and Political Science, thank you very much for joining us. Right, and I guess with this we come to the end of our breakfast show for today. Thank you all for joining us. Stay tuned for more coming up on Nile TV International.